Joining me now is Jolin. He is the president of AFO, that is the Assemblée de la Francophonie de l'Ontario. He joins me in the studio. Thanks for coming in.
You're welcome.
Let's start with, obviously all eyes are on this meeting. It's going to be a telephone conversation that's going to go on between the federal minister responsible for official languages, Mélanie Joly. She's going to be speaking with her provincial counterpart, Jolin in Toronto, the minister responsible for Francophone services. First of all, what are you making of what you're hearing from the federal government and from Madame Joly, for example, in terms of the support for the Francophone cause?
Well, we were very happy that as Minister of la Francophonie, she reacted very quickly in support of what we're doing and against the decision of the Conservative government. And we're looking forward to the discussion that she will have with Madame Mulroney. She knows our position. She knows I'd say the devil is in the details. She knows all the details about our situation, the arguments that we're using to tell the government that they're making a mistake. And she will have that conversation with Madame Mulroney, and they will probably speak about politics, that's for sure. What are the implications at the political level, federal, provincial? It is going to be their discussion.
It's been more than a week since some of this announcement was made, and things have evolved. Have you gotten any indication that there's any desire by the Ontario government and by Premier Ford to change TAC? Because he still argues that this is not a lot of money, but it's important, it just can't be afforded. That this is a university that wasn't going to be built, that this is a commissioner's responsibilities that are being switched to the Auditor General, that this is not some anti-Francophone plot.
Well, for one thing, at that point, we didn't hear about the Prime Minister's office. A couple of days ago, we sent a letter requesting a meeting with him. Even the day after, we had to communicate to our members.
This is Premier Ford, yeah.
Premier Ford, yeah. And we asked for a meeting. We asked for a meeting a couple of days ago with an official letter. We haven't heard of the Prime Minister's office yet.
Okay. From Jolin Mulroney, have you had a chance to speak with the minister responsible?
We kept in touch with our staff. Spoke with our staff at the office, so we kept those lines open, and we still have a very good line open. We have discussion with our staff, but we haven't heard that's a meeting that we want with Mr. Ford.
One member of Doug Ford's government, Madame Simard from Eastern Ontario, Francophone MPP, has expressed opposition to this decision. Do you think you might see any change among other members of his caucus?
Oh, I don't know at this point how it's going to be with the other members, but I was very proud of the decision of Madame Simard to come and support the position of the Franco-Ontarians. Her values and her heart are into the Franco-Ontarians community, and she showed it with a lot of guts, I would say, and we're very, very proud of the move that she's made.
What do you hope will come out of this meeting or this discussion between Madame Joly and Madame Mulroney tomorrow?
Well, I hope Madame Mulroney will hear more about all the support that we're getting and the support that we're getting at the federal level. Even Mr. Scheer talked to Mr. Ford last week, mentioning that he was worried about the situation in Ontario without even condemning the position of the government. But I think it's a way to tell the provincial government that all Canadian eyes are on Ontario right now with that decision.
Here in Ottawa, we saw Madame Joly, Mélanie Joly, last week. She was criticizing Andrew Scheer, and the Liberals here in federal politics have made it, this has become quite a partisan issue. They're saying that Andrew Scheer is not being strong enough in pressuring a fellow Conservative, Doug Ford, to rescind this decision. Have you had any discussions with Andrew Scheer since the decision's come out, since he had a meeting with Doug Ford?
We met Mr. Scheer yesterday. We had a very good discussions with him, and we had the chance to mention all the details about the decision of the government, and to tell them about what it means for the Francophones, the Commissioner's office, what it means for the Francophone, the University in Toronto, why it is needed, and why the community was pushing really hard to get a university in the past 3 or 4 years, and at this point, we hope that that'll be a focus of their discussion. We mentioned to Mr. Scheer we don't want it to be a partisan discussion. It has to be something for the Francophonie, for the official languages in Canada, and that both of them have to be strong and have a chance to prosper. And there's a responsibility at the federal level and at the provincial level.
Mr. Premier Ford, in his discussions, he says, look, Ontario has a $15 billion deficit. This is not a matter of being anti-French, it's a matter of being just fiscally responsible. How do you, to the general public, maybe not just the Francophone community, how do you answer to that?
Well, we have to put the things in perspective, because when we're talking about building a university, we're not building a university with who's going to receive 45,000 students. It's not the size that the English university have. So the expenses are not the same. And basically, if we compare to the provincial budget, it's very small amount of money to be invested, and there's a need in Toronto for that in terms of Francophone populations, because the offer of a French program is not there, and the workplace is telling the government and everybody that we need manpower that can speak both official language to do business here in Ontario, to do business with Quebec, to do business at the international level, and the university was a solution to that. So it's not only the Francophone, and if I consider probably the 150,000 students that are into the immersion schools in the Toronto area, that takes away a chance for them to complete their study in French and to be even more fluent in French and access the work market with both languages.
Okay, Mr. Jolin, thank you very much for coming in. We will follow this with great interest. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.